I'm Larry Lee with Brownfield Ag News Network. Michelle McBride from Good Sport joins us. First of all, Good Sport sounds like an idea that should have been done a long time ago. How did you come up with this?
So I'm a mom of 3 kids, and my son especially, every time he'd go to a baseball game, would be offered one of the leading sports drinks. And I just didn't want him, drinking and consuming all the artificial ingredients and the sugar that come in those drinks. So, I knew hydration was important, but I wanted something that would provide hydration that really worked from a natural source. We had tried the natural sports drinks. They didn't taste good. And as I came to learn, didn't provide any level of hydration beyond plain water. And I had been bringing my son chocolate milk as a healthier alternative for after his games or practices. And that was really what sparked the idea to look at milk as a source of hydration. And with a little research, I learned that milk is packed with electrolytes and has been scientifically shown to be more hydrating than traditional sports drinks and water. And I was like, well, then there's got to be a way to make a sports drink out of milk. And for some crazy reason, I decided I was going to be the one to do it.
Well, if I understand correctly, you do not have a background in food or research. You're just a mom that said there's got to be a better way.
I am a mom. I am an attorney, and I was a nonprofit executive for many years. And I had absolutely no experience with CPG, beverage, dairy, none of it. I learned it all on the job, as they say.
So once you had the idea, what was the next step?
So the next step was I talked to who became my partner, Andy Friedman, who's a good friend. He is the founder and was the CEO of Skinny Pop Popcorn. And when I told him the idea, he said, that's not an idea, making a sports drink from milk. That's a really big idea. And I think you're onto something. Well, the attorney in me said, I need an expert, because who am I to even analyze the research that I was reading and say that it was credible. And I wanted an expert to make sure that if I was going to set out to make this sports drink, that it was really going to work and it would provide truly effective hydration. So I teamed up with Dr. Bob Murray, who is the founder and former director of the Gatorade Sports Science Institute. And Bob has overseen the development of the drink and the formulation of the drink from the very beginning, so that we knew that we would provide effective hydration. And I worked very closely with the Center for Dairy Research at the University of Wisconsin, who helped on the dairy application side of things.
How long did it take to develop Good Sport?
4.5 years, enough time for my son, who was 11 at the time, to go from 4'10" to 6'1". A long time. But, with the help of, especially, the Center for Dairy Research, one of our biggest challenges was figuring out, how do we take milk? How do we harness the electrolytes, vitamins, and carbs from milk in a refreshing, clear, thirst-quenching beverage with the mouthfeel people would expect from a sports drink? And that's where the Center for Dairy Research came in. And they, taught us how we could use ultrafiltration to remove milk's protein, which is wonderful, but it's not needed for hydration. And it can be an obstacle when you're trying to work out because it's slower to digest. And so we ultrafilter the protein, remove the protein, and we're left with the part of the milk that is nutrient rich, filled with electrolytes, vitamins, and the right balance of carbs to provide superior hydration.
And from what I understand, the ultrafiltration process helps you utilize a product from milk that the cheese plants don't really need.
Exactly. So, we went to the lab for the first time, and they brought in a big vat of milk, and we used the ultrafiltration system. And, when the milk goes through and the protein is pulled out, you're left with this clear liquid, that we use to make Good Sport. Well, what I also learned is that, exactly to your point, cheese companies and large dairy processors ultrafilter milk literally by the millions of tons every day, because they use the protein to do things like standardized cheeses and make whey protein powders and things like that. And then they're not able to use the part of the milk that we use to make Good Sport. So we work with these dairy processors to rescue and upcycle what is called milk permeate, that part of the milk, and make it into our nutritious sports drink.
So I'm guessing obtaining what you need from the ultrafiltration process has not been a problem.
No, there's plenty of it. What, is more difficult is when you're dealing with an ingredient that hasn't traditionally been used for human consumption. There were some obstacles, but we worked through them. It's just another really exciting part of the product.
So Good Sport gets off the ground and you've taken it commercial now. How was it getting this product launched for public?
Well, we plan to launch in February of 2020. And so if anybody remembers what took place, we had this little pandemic. And so, we had to press pause. But the upside of, well, there was no upside to the pandemic, but, the upside of having the extra time was that we had a study performed to test the hydration efficacy. So we know that because of milk, we have 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks, with 1/3 the sugar. And we knew that we had the right balance in this broad spectrum of electrolytes that, based on decades of sports hydration science, would and should provide truly effective hydration, but we hadn't yet tested it on people. And so we had the time to do that. We ran it at a top tier university. The study was run and it was peer reviewed and published in a prestigious journal, the journal Nutrients. And it demonstrated that, from a scientific perspective, Good Sport provides rapid and long-lasting hydration. And in fact, a bottle of Good Sport was keeping subjects hydrated for more than 2 hours after it was consumed. That was a very significant finding. So we're excited about that. We're dedicated to science and to fact-based claims so that athletes can trust, they're getting what we promise.
I would imagine that the dairy industry is watching closely what you're doing because you found another use for the product.
Yes. So the dairy industry is not only watching, but really supporting in really wonderful ways. From our friends at DMI, Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, Midwest Dairy, Dairy West, they've all appreciated this opportunity to present dairy for a new usage occasion for consumers, thirst, refreshment, and hydration. So even, just to enjoy another source of dairy on a hot and sweaty day. And then we add in, this functionality, the scientifically proven functionality. It's exciting. And so, I've been super appreciative of all the help that they have done to help us get the word out and get launched.
A lot of dairy products have a very short shelf life. How about Good Sport?
Good Sport is shelf stable. It is like any other sports drink. It has a very long shelf life and does not need to be refrigerated.
So storage is not a problem.
Storage is not a problem, no.
You've got it available to consumers now. I would imagine it's starting at a smaller scale and expanding as you can distribute it and make more products. So give us a little bit of a rundown. Where are you making it now and where is it going as far as retail? And if you can get it online.
Yes, we launched online. We're available on Amazon and at goodsport.com. And we're rolling out into retail now in the Midwest. It's very exciting. We're in a few retailers and we're expanding into more. We've been having a lot of great conversations. So it's an exciting time.
As far as putting everything together, manufacturing, bottling, how's that going and where are you coming from?
Well, everything is taking place in the Midwest. Our bottler, our supplier, us, we're Midwest born and grown. And so it's all starting from here.
People want to find out more about Good Sport, what should they do?
They should go to goodsport.com, and they can also learn about, our commitment to good. So we talk about good being at the core of everything we do, not just what goes into our bottles, but we have a commitment of good for you, good for the planet, and good for sport, where we're committed to helping create a more positive sports culture. So the healthy halo and goodness halo of milk, we're going to bring that right into the world of sports and fitness.
It may be early, but have you heard from any of the dairy checkoff groups like Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin that might want to help you promote or get some taste testing going or things like that that would help move this into a larger market?
Yes, Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin has helped me tremendously as we launched to help secure some PR and get the word out, and it's really been fantastic and has really helped us.
You get the last word. Anything you'd like to add today, Michelle?
No, I just want to thank you for having me, and thank you to the whole, dairy community that's been so supportive. And like you said, you can learn more about us at goodsport.com.
Michelle McBride from Good Sport, thanks for joining us today on Brownfield.
Thanks so much.